Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Martin and thank you for 1,000 subscribers. We did it. We hit the first milestone of hopefully many more to come. And here we are for this Q&A, comment responding, celebration video. But before we get onto all that, I just have to say, just as expected, a massive thank you to all of you who have been subscribing. It is, as I've said in previous videos, the best way to let me know that you're enjoying the content, that you want me to keep making it, that you want this community we've got here to keep growing, all that stuff. It is the best way to let me know that you're liking what I'm doing and you want to see me grow as a creator on here and all that stuff. So I really do appreciate it. It is, like I say, the best way to let me know that you're enjoying it and you want it to continue. And long may it continue, because I'm having fun doing it and you guys seem to be enjoying it. So I'm going to cover a couple things here. As I said, first things first, I'm going to answer questions. Well, a question that got put on the Q&A video previous, the one where I said, please submit your questions here if you want something answered directly. I'm going to do that. And then I am going to respond to a few other comments spread across other videos and just go from there for a little bit. And then after that, I'm going to talk about just kind of loose plans for the channel, what I want to do going forward, and just maybe get some feedback from you guys in that regard and see what you guys are interested in and all that kind of stuff. But let's crack on with the comment stuff, shall we? Okay, so over on the Q&A asking video, I did get a question from Cindy, and Cindy asked, glad you're feeling better. Thank you, I am feeling better. If you don't know, I did have COVID for a bit. I was in Club Corona. That's why videos sort of stopped for a bit, but I am feeling much better now and it's all good. What are some of the shows and movies that you find you didn't like so much? The thing is, I think I'm at a stage now where I don't linger on things I don't enjoy so much anymore. I think the only thing that I do linger on is Doctor Who, but I still love Doctor Who. I don't think any particular era of Doctor Who has ever outright failed, but there are episodes that just don't work for me, and that's really the only stuff I kind of linger on, like, that really didn't work for me. But I've always kind of said that Doctor Who is probably the most subjective show just by its very nature, but that's neither here or there. You want to know if there's any outright shows and movies that I didn't enjoy for some reason or another. We'll start with movies, and these are just ones that are kind of in my head. Like I said, I used to get hung up on movies in particular that I really didn't like, and I would just rant about them. Like I have since, I think, moved on from that, which is, you know, maybe not great for a YouTube channel, because like hate rants, especially around films, tend to garner quite a lot of views. But you know, I'm just past that. I can't be doing that anymore. I'd rather just enjoy stuff and talk about the things that I love and enjoy. But having said that, I remember the first time a movie I went to see in the cinema that I actively wanted to leave. I wanted to scarper out of that cinema because I was sat there just like, what the what am I watching? We paid money to be in here. Why are we doing this to ourselves? And it was when I was a teenager. Me and my dad often went to the cinema when I was a teenager. It was just a thing we did together. And it must have been half term, because it was in the middle of the week, and it must have been a slow week, because I have no idea why we chose to go and see this particular film. So there mustn't have been anything else on, or that we'd already seen what the big movie at the time was. And that movie was epic movie. Honest to God, I've never been sat next to my father before watching a movie and felt embarrassed to just be that close in proximity to him watching something before. Like, that's never affected me, that kind of stuff. Like, I know a lot of people say if there's like a violent or a sex scene or something like that and you're watching it with your parents, it's cringe and awkward. I've never quite got that, because I think everyone in the room is old enough to understand what we're watching is a fiction thing and people have made it. But this time, watching that movie in a cinema with my dad was just the most cringy, awkward experience of my life. And I think we both wanted to leave. We just didn't want to say it to one another. It was awful. Just awful. More recently, a movie that I don't hate or really super dislike, but I was kind of disappointed by, was the Tolkien movie, the J.R. Tolkien bio drama movie. That left me a little disappointed. I felt that movie was a bit scattershot. It didn't really have a strong focus. Like, it didn't have, the main problem with it is that it didn't have a main A story that it focused in on, because it was constantly going everywhere. Like, it was, we're talking about the friends that he built up when he was at school and what happened to them. Oh no, we're actually talking about how he met his wife. Oh no, we're actually talking about what he was doing in the World War. Oh no, we're actually talking about how he invented a language. It just kept, like, it couldn't decide what it wanted its A story to be. And it really needed someone to come in and say, look, guys, what's the main story here? What are we building on and growing as the movie goes on? And then we can find ways to, at least thematically, link all the other stuff in as the story progresses. It, to my mind, when I watched that, like I said, I didn't hate it. It just felt very scattershot and unfocused and kind of distracting because of that. So that's probably the most recent movie where I saw it and walked out like, I'm really disappointed by this. I wanted it to be a lot better than what it was, but you know, you can't have everything apparently. But that's probably the most recent movie that I sort of walked out of. Maybe I didn't like that one quite so much, at least in memory, because like I say, I sort of, if there's something I don't like, I just try to remove it from my brain more than anything these days. As for TV shows, this one is probably going to cause, you're all going to judge me, basically. You're all going to judge me for this. Before I say what it is, I would like to start this by saying I have a lot of appreciation for this show. I think it had a massively positive impact on television and the way it's made, the sort of stories people wanted to tell, and just the way it pushed the bar out for all this great television that's been coming out since. And I think it's extremely well written, and some of the best performances I've ever seen are in this show. I think there's two specific reasons as to why this show just didn't get its claws into me in the way that it seems to everyone else. Like, I am the outlier, I am the minority on this. It just didn't grab me in the way that it seemed to grab everybody else. And that is Breaking Bad. Don't hate me, I know, you're probably going to hit that unsubscribe button right now, but please let me explain. Before you do, let me explain. So rewind some time ago, I think the last season of the show was airing at around this time, when I first decided I'm going to watch Breaking Bad. Everyone's talking about it, everyone says it's the best thing in the world, let's watch it. I'm going to go watch it, go out my way to watch it, because at that time in the UK, I think it was pretty hard to narrow down what channel was even airing it. Like, it skipped around a lot over here, like it didn't have a solid home. But I went out of my way to go and watch the first season, and at the time there was stuff happening in my personal life where some of the subject matters of the first season were just kind of hitting me too real. Like, it was too real for me at that time, because there were just particular subject matters that were hitting too close to home. And although I was really enjoying the effort and the writing and the performances in the show, it just kind of left me feeling depressed, and I just wasn't enjoying it because of just, you know, very personal reasons to me at that time. It wasn't a show that was helping with certain anxieties and stuff that I was going through at the time. And yeah, and that just sort of left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth purely because of something personal to me. A few years later, and I'm sort of over all that, it's fine, I decide, you know what, I'm going to rewatch it, I'm going to go from the beginning again and really try and give this show its due, because everyone rates it as their best show ever. So I feel like I am obliged as someone who loves media, television, movies, to watch it and to see what it is all about. So this was about maybe a year or two ago, and I started watching it. I was watching maybe 1 or 2 episodes every other day, something like that. I think I got to the end of season 3, and I just kind of went, okay, this is fine, I'm enjoying this, it's good, but I need to take a break from it and maybe just watch something else for a bit, just, you know, as you do, just to sort of pace yourself. But I've never had a desire to go back and keep watching it. One day I will. The second reason as to why I think that is just, it's really the only time this has happened to me, is that it got so hyped and hyperbolic with that hype that it's left kind of a negative impact on my enjoyment of it, just because everyone was talking about the show as if it's the greatest thing since man discovered fire. And whilst watching it, I'm like, this is really, really good. I it's not giving me a feeling that I'm ever going to have to worry about, you know, being cold or eating cold food again. But it's really solid. It's just not hooking me in that way that if I had watched it during its original sort of hype wave, I probably would have done. But because I still had that kind of lingering, like I would say, aftertaste of my first initial watching of it, but then also it being super hyped up to me, and it was like good, but it was never going to meet expectation based on how everyone was always talking about it. So I have a weird relationship with Breaking Bad, basically. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad show by any stretch of the imagination. It just doesn't hook me. It doesn't grab me in the same way that everyone else seems to be grabbed by it. And, you know, it's all personal stuff down to me. Don't hate me. Please don't unsubscribe for my minority stupid opinion about a show that probably is as great as everyone says it is. But no, I hope that answers your question, Cindy. There's probably more I could talk about, but I've always spent a bit of time on that. But yeah, thank you for the question, Cindy. It was much appreciated. Also, I'll point out on that Q&A video, Derry also told me to look after myself, which I did do, which is why the video stopped for a little bit. But thank you for your concern, Derry. It is noted and thanked. Thank you. All right, here comes sort of the quick fire section of this. I'm just going to kind of scroll through some comments here and respond to them with my face, because I'm pretty bad at responding via typing, because I feel like what I'm trying to say always gets lost in communication via tip, 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 tip. Yuri says, in regards to Black Sails, this is the most underrated show of the past decade. The writing is brilliant, only gets better and better. I'm 4 episodes deep into Black Sails as of recording this, and it does get better and better. I'm very happy I've started doing Black Sails, because it is a show up my street. I think it's much like Firefly. It is a show that deals with characters who have their own motivations, their own quirks, and, you know, it is signaling a bigger journey that is going to unfold. And yeah, it's a good show. I'm happy that I'm doing it, and I'm happy I listened to everyone who was saying it would be a good show for me, because it's good. If you haven't watched those videos, you should. And if you haven't watched Black Sails, maybe try giving it a go. I could have worded that better, but I decided to talk like a robot. It's also worth noting I have actually picked up a few subscribers because I've started doing Black Sails, so thank you to all of you. Hopefully you'll watch some of my other stuff as well, but thank you for subscribing because I am doing Black Sails. That is very nice of you. And still on the trail of Black Sails, Ron Weber says, I only recently started watching the show myself, and now I wonder why it hasn't received a lot more love than it has. It's an amazing show, just so skillfully acted and written. So much. I'll get to this. So much more than just an pirate show. You will see. I agree with you. It is proving to be more than just an pirate shows, but saying pirates, it's fun. It's a fun thing to do. I recommend everyone does it every time they watch an episode of Black Sails. Just get it out, just from the gut. Big Gator 5 says on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the Lost Tribe of Children section is what loses most people. Bruce Spence is indeed playing a different character in this movie. It is very confusing. It was confusing to me when I watched it. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Iron Bar is the MVP of bad guys. I've seen several reactions where the actors hate him, but I love how over the top he is. I don't understand that. I don't get how reactors cannot like that guy. He's so committed to what he's doing in that movie, and he does some crazy shit. He does some of the most crazy stuff. It's hugely enjoyable. I don't think I'll ever understand why anyone wouldn't like what he's doing in that movie. Especially if you're a reactor, he gives you like golden moments for your video, and yeah, I don't think I'll ever understand that. But yeah, he was one of my favorite parts of watching that film. So there you go. Iron Bar is certainly the MVP of that movie. And actually, because I've had as I'm scrolling through, there are a number of comments, not massive amounts, but I'm going to talk to it, but just so everyone is aware. I get a comment every so often talking about, shouldn't you just be watching the movie and not talking over it? I'm just going to cover this right here, right now. In terms of making videos that are reactions and reviews for things, I kind of see it as pretty pointless as me just to put up a video of just me sitting here quietly, not maybe occasionally laughing and letting clips from the movie play and whatever. Like, that seems pointless to me, because at that point I'm literally just uploading clips from a movie. Like, the whole point of these videos is not the movie itself. It is my response and review of it. And I get that my videos, I suppose, in terms of the sphere of the reaction world, they're a little bit more like live reviews, and I'm just reviewing it as I'm watching it, kind of thing. Not exactly, but that's kind of the closest descriptor I can really give. But ultimately, that's what my videos are. They're about me like discovering these movies and talking about them as I'm watching them. It would be pointless of me to put up a video of just my blank, occasionally smiling face with small clips playing in the corner. If you want to watch clips of the movie, go and watch the movie. Like, I don't want to sound like arrogant or anything like that, but if that's what you want, I fully recommend you just go and watch the movie. Like, go and do that and then come back and watch my videos, because it's not necessarily about like re-watching the movie through my video. That's exactly against the point, and that's the sort of shit that gets you in trouble with copyright. Like, I am making something that is transformative, that is critique of what I am watching, and that's what I do here on this channel. And it's just an excuse for me to talk about movies. For all those who are concerned in regards to how are you paying attention while you're talking over this, the headphones that I use when I'm doing this stuff are pretty much completely sound counseling. They cancel the fuck me. They why can't I say the word cancel? Jesus Christ. These headphones cancel out pretty much any noise. So when I'm talking, I can barely hear myself. I'm not talking over. Oh, made a big ring there. Sorry, guys. I can barely hear myself at all. The movie is completely overpowering anything that I'm saying, and I can easily pay attention to what's going on whilst I'm talking. It's not cutting out for me whatsoever. So don't be concerned about that. I am still watching the thing as I'm talking. I am still paying attention to it as I'm watching it. Again, I don't want to seem like I'm being arrogant about that or whatever, but just, you don't need to worry, guys. I'm paying attention to what I'm watching as I'm watching it. It's just, I personally, my view on these types of videos is that they should be, me interacting with whatever it is I'm watching. It should be my response to it, and these videos should ultimately, be my videos. They're not the movie's videos. That's kind of the best way I can put it. But the weirdest thing is about some of those comments is that they just assume that I don't like the movie because I'm talking about them or trying to understand them or figure it out, because generally speaking, that's what I do with a movie when I'm not like talking over it. In my head, that is what I'm doing. I'm fitting the puzzle pieces together, trying to get what it is, what the themes of it are, all that stuff. And I'm just doing that out loud in these videos. That's kind of what the point of them is. And for some reason, a lot of people interpret that as me not enjoying them. There's been a couple of movies, thankfully only really a couple, which I've not liked so much on the channel, but vast majority of them I've really enjoyed. But I don't know why some people seem to think I don't like the movies, even though I'm just sort of talking about them. Aelfno? I think I'm saying that wrong. I think I'm saying that wrong. Aelfno. I'm going with that. Just started watching this, and I just wanted to say straight off the bat that I saw Serenity long before I watched the show, so you're not alone. That's in regards to the Firefly reactions. Thank God, because it was feeling like I was one of the very few who'd seen the movie long before I even knew the show existed. But thankfully, I'm not on my own, so thank you for letting me know that. In regards to Serenity, I also had a lot of comments asking about the River Thames sessions, which I believe are on YouTube, but I did consider doing them, but it was just a bit of a time crunch, and I just really didn't have the time to fit in a recording for it, even though they are apparently very short. It's just, I need to get this and this done. I need to get these done, I need to get these edited so they're out on time. And Serenity, if you don't know, you can sort of see in that video I'm looking a bit pale and not great as when I started getting ill. So yeah, I think it was just a little bit off the table. I did want to do it, but I'll probably watch it in my own time. But yeah, that's just the way it fell, unfortunately. We got Islan Santos and Gloria Bloomstein both up requesting that I react to number 2 of The Conjuring. You'll be happy to know that that should be coming out this weekend, just for anyone who's wondering. So The Conjuring 2 will be out this weekend. I hope you enjoy it. It's what I'm actually going to be editing today, so there you go. I'll also respond to another sort of legitimate critique that some people have thrown at some of the videos, is especially from earlier on, audio levels in terms of balancing my audio with the film audio. I've recently been trying a new way of kind of doing it, and it seems to be working a lot better. But with those early videos, like I said, it was a learning process trying to edit this together and make it work. Again, using these kind of headphones while you're editing is great. Everything sounds good, everything sounds clear, but you kind of in your head, you don't quite realize or remember that most people are probably going to be consuming these videos either through their phone or through some earbuds. People aren't going to be set up with like proper headphones or through speakers or whatever it is. As I say, I have tried a new way of doing it now where it seems to be working it, but there are a few videos that I test and try to make sure, like I've had a couple, I think it was on the Exorcist 3 video, someone was saying that they couldn't hear dialogue of the movie and stuff, so I actively went and tried to test it on every kind of sound equipment that I have, and it sounded fine to me. I'm not sure what else I can do. There are certain circumstances where it seems like, and there are other videos which I've done that with, where I can hear the audio. Like I test it on these headphones, I test it on just playing on my phone with no earbuds or whatever. I try it with various couple different sets of earbuds, a high quality one, a low quality one, and it's like they still sound fine to me. I can make it out. I don't know. Just so you're all aware, I am still kind of experimenting with sound balancing and trying to find that sweet spot. I think I've hit upon it recently with the sort of Black Sail videos. Like I feel like I found a nice way to sort of do it. Sometimes there are situations where I just have to prioritize one or the other, and more often than not, I'm probably going to prioritize my audio because again, the videos are about my responses to things. And I've said this in the past as well, I make all these videos assuming that the people watching them have already seen whatever it is I'm covering. So they'll have an idea of what it is I'm looking at or listening to anyway. But just so you know, audio mixing and stuff is still it's a fine art, and it's still something I'm learning, but I feel like it has gotten better as time's gone on. Roger Adams says, in regards to Firefly, one of the things I liked about the writing is that they left all the adversaries alive. They created a great rogues gallery. They created a great rogues gallery that unfortunately was never used. I agree. The one thing I really liked, especially as Firefly kept progressing, is that they kept their villains for the most part alive and gave them all kind of great setups that could have been used later down the line. It's a shame that we never got to see that potential realized, but I did enjoy the fact that they were taking the time to set up some good villains for later use. What do you say? It is a shame that we didn't get to see them return, at least not yet. Everyone, there's always hope, okay? Alright, here's another name that I'm gonna butcher. I apologize in advance, so please don't hate me. But Boguslaw Piskovs? I'm so sorry. I just wanted to point this comment out from you. You're the champ. That was the great reaction to a very important and yet rarely reacted movie. I was missing it in people's reaction vlogs. I just subbed. Greetings from Norway. Keep up the great work. And that was in relation to Dr. Strangelove. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of great responses from that video, and I really enjoyed the movie. A lot of people seem to think that I didn't like it, or for some reason. I really did like it. There was an aspect to it which was, whilst I was watching it for the first time, it was a lot to take in. A lot of people have commented on my education around the subject. From my memory at school, that portion of kind of the Cold War wasn't covered too much. A lot of what I covered in my history was Vietnam and sort of the early Russia stuff, like in regards to the world wars. That was sort of what got covered in my history. in my secondary school history. It wasn't so much the beginning. Weirdly, when covering Vietnam, we didn't really get taught too much about the build-up to it. It was just the stuff that happened during that we got taught, which is a bit odd in hindsight. I agree. But to set the record straight, I am aware of the Cold War. I am aware of the sort of conflict in that everyone was nervous about someone doing something first and the response. Like, I'm aware of that stuff. What I was talking about in terms of just keeping up with the sort of contextual stuff of the movie was that, is this talking about real people that I'm not aware of? Is it, on those much more kind of personal levels? Like, was that Stanley Kubrick responding to real people at that time who he knew of, who he was satirizing, that kind of stuff? Not so much the bigger picture, as it were. I'm aware of what the bigger picture was. But no, I really enjoyed the movie. It was very funny, and I greatly enjoyed it. I think I was more worried about it than what I needed to be going into it, because I think I got what most of the movie was talking about in the end. So, but I just wanted to point out that I have been getting quite a lot of support through that Doctor Strangelove movie, and I don't know if anyone else has covered it yet, any other reactors or anything, but I remember at the time, stroke of genius on my part, being apparently the only person on YouTube who'd done a video on it. I don't know if that's the case anymore, but yeah, it was good. It was a good time. I'm glad most people seem to like that video and the fact that I did it, and I'm certainly happy I did it. It's a movie that I've been aware of for a long portion of my life and just never got around to watching, and I think it kind of slipped into the back of my mind a little bit, and then when everyone started bringing it up in comments that it's a movie I should do, then I did it, and I was happy to do it. So it all worked out in the end. Claptrap, the one and only Claptrap from Borderlands, said in my first Firefly reaction, so he basically watched the last episode first. Yes, I did. That's exactly what I did in the case of Firefly. I watched the conclusion, loose conclusion to the story, then starting from the beginning. That's exactly what I did, and apparently thankfully, people seem to enjoy that kind of watching that point of view of going into Firefly, seeing it from that direction. It lended maybe a unique observation to it, but yeah, I was the idiot who did that. Oh, here we go. Another name I'm definitely going to butcher. Matezes Paquez? Says, someone once said that The Guest is a B-movie with a world-class soundtrack. However, it cannot be denied that the film itself is interesting, with the potential for a trilogy. The second part could be a prequel about how David became what he became, details of the program. The third part would be his later fate. Obviously, this is in regards to The Guest reaction. I'm so happy that other people like The Guest. It's a really good film that I think gets overlooked, and just like we've got in this comment here, people saying it's a B movie with a world-class soundtrack. Face value, absolutely. But if you've seen the film, I think you know that I think that film's got a lot more going on beneath the surface that people often give it credit for. It's just a really interesting thriller, slight horror-y, sci-fi stuff, and just a nice blend. And I just enjoy how that movie just ramps up and gets to its conclusion, and just how willing it is to just go to these kind of bonkers levels towards the end and pay homage to some stuff that I'm very much fond of. But it's a great movie. You should go out and watch it, and then go watch the reaction video to it. There's one movie that I definitely recommend for any sort of thriller, horror, B-movie style. That's the one. Now, this came up a long time ago. I'll respond to this now. Rune Munch Pedersen? Just made a song with your name. I hope you enjoyed it. He asked, I have to know now. I've been wondering for months, are you in any way related to John Bain, aka Total Biscuit, who sadly passed away? But no, I am not related to John Bain. I mean, there's not much else to say other than that, really. I thought I could give you more, but apparently I look like I could be cousins with him, and but I have a similar kind of accent. But no, I'm not responded. I want to say responded for some reason. I don't know why. Responded is on the brain. I'm not related to John Bain. I hope that has left that mystery concluded for you. But no, J-Dog Johnson, in regards to The Exorcist 3, says, I like this more than the original, if I can be honest. Yes, you can be honest. Perfectly welcome. And you know what? I can kind of see why someone might say they like The Exorcist 3 more than the original. I can totally understand it. I get it. I've said in the video, I personally prefer the first one, but I really enjoyed the third one as well, and I think it had some interesting themes, and it has a nice kind of play on the whole losing faith, because in the first one it's very much a faith in the traditional sense of religion, losing your belief in it and that kind of stuff. In Exorcist 3, it's more about a guy who has kind of already lost his faith, like long before the movie even starts, and he's confronted with something totally evil, which he does believe in. He believes in cruelty and all that stuff, but having seen and being exposed to this sort of might open his eyes to some of the good in the world and that kind of struggle. And it was it's definitely a very interesting film, and it talks about some interesting ideas in terms of the characters that are involved. So I can get why people would enjoy the third one more, if it speaks to them in that way. I also got a lot of comments in regards to Firefly episode 10, in regards to the fact that I spotted a car driving by in the background of a shot.
We ain't gonna find him here.
There's cars down there. There's cars down there. Could they not have filmed away from the road? I thought when I made that comment in the recording of that video that was going to be a known thing. That is something that's a part of the fandom of Firefly that people already knew about. But going by the comments, apparently not. Apparently, I spotted something that not many other people would ever notice before. So I'm so happy that I've able to, in very minute way, added to the Firefly fan canon in that I noticed some cars driving on a distant highway in the background of a shot. What an achievement by me there, if I don't, don't mind saying. Snowhawk, very much my favourite episode, closely followed by Out of Gas. Would love it if you reacted to the Mandalorian series next. That was in regards to Firefly War Stories. I did respond to this via text or message on the comments. I have already seen the Mandalorian up to this point. When it returns, I will hopefully do videos for it. We'll see what happens, but that is my plan. My plan is to cover the third season when it comes back, just in case you're wondering. Beepo1975 said, the fact that you're actually taking notes I found to be quite endearing, enough to make me subscribe. Thank you for subscribing. Yeah, I do take notes. It's something I sort of do on and off now. For Black Sails, I've definitely picked back up taking notes. For some stupid reason, I decided not to for episode 3. And boy, oh boy, can you tell when I'm trying to get back round to talking about the episode. Taking notes for Black Sails has been really helpful because it's constantly introducing new characters and new situations just popping up, so it's very helpful. With movies, it's kind of, I don't really call attention to it so much now that if I'm ever taking notes to anything. To start with, I did all the time, but now it's just kind of, I'll take a note if there's something I really need to keep on top of and something I want to bring up at the end in the review section of the video. But thank you for the subscription. It does, as I say at the beginning, it means a lot. Thank you very much. And I will continue to try and be endearing, as that seems to win favour. Hunter Nichols, I think that's how you're saying the last name there, said, fun reaction, subscribed. Thank you very much. It is much appreciated. Don't know what happened to the accent there, but thank you. Donald Gilbert asked, how about 1984 Streets of Fire with a young Diane Lane and William Dafoe? It's on Netflix now. I've seen Streets of Fire. I've only seen it the once, but it wasn't too long ago that I watched it. I bought it because Edgar Wright, a director I really like, gave out a bunch of movie recommendations, and Streets of Fire was one of them. And I believe it's Walter Hill who is responsible for The Warriors, which is one of my favorite films ever. So Streets of Fire I have seen. It's one of those ones I've sort of considered maybe doing on the channel, even though I've seen it before, but I've only ever seen it the once. So it might be an interesting one to go back to. But I'm kind of at this point, I'm kind of in two minds about doing reaction videos to movies that I've seen before. I'm going to talk a little bit about this after we've done all these comments, so stick around for that and I'll talk to that. I've also got a bunch of comments talking about watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer because of obviously watching Firefly. There's a connection there. I've seen pretty much all of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and just recently my partner's been watching it, so I've been catching episodes every now and then with it. So I doubt I'll be covering Buffy on the channel, simply because I remember watching it when it originally aired, even though I was quite young at the time. I do remember it, and I watched quite a bit of it the first time round, and I've subsequently watched various episodes again since. So I doubt I'll be doing it. Sorry, but I just thought I'd let you all know that is the case with Buffy. It's a show that I'm too familiar with to go through again on the channel, unfortunately. So I do apologise about that if it's something you wanted me to do, but it's just, I don't think it would make this super enjoyable content for people in terms of a reaction. I think that's where we'll leave it for the comments response stuff. Thank you for all the comments that you have been leaving on various videos. I do appreciate it. I try to read as much as I can, and I think this is a better way for me to kind of respond to them because, like I said, I often think a lot of what I'm trying to say gets lost in comment sections, like the context of which I'm saying it in and stuff. So I think this is probably a better way to do it. Obviously, I can't do it for every single comment that I get, but I think this is a better way to just try and get just get across what I'm trying to say in a more personal way, I suppose. But thank you for commenting and liking and subscribing. As this video suggests, it does mean a lot. But for now, I just want to sort of talk a little bit about plans moving forward for the channel. First things first, just because I've already brought this up, covering movies for future reactions in terms of if I've seen the movie before or not. I'm in this headspace of, if it's a movie that I cannot remember, even though I know I've seen it, but I can't remember it for the life of me, I can't remember the details of it or specific scenes or whatever, I'm kind of leaving the door open for those ones to do on the channel still, and I'll just mark them as straight movie reaction, and I won't obviously put first time watching or whatever. If it's a movie that I am watching for the first time, it will be clear in the title that it is the first time that I am watching it. Otherwise, if it just says movie reaction, then it's a movie that I've already seen before. But from this point going forward, it will be movies that I pretty much have no memory of, and it's effectively me watching it again for the first time. Just there are probably some memories that will kick in as I'm watching it, and it's just a kind of an obvious reason as to why I'm doing that. I think the reaction videos just work better when you're responding to something that is fresh to you and you're just sort of piecing it together in that way. The reason I did John Carpenter's The Thing, which is a movie that I love and I know kind of in and out in detail now because I've seen it so many times, like countless times at this point. It's just because I wanted to talk about the movie, really. That's the reason I made that video. But I think going forward now, and this is sort of linking into sort of future ideas, the types of videos I want to do on top of reactions, is maybe just make a video that's a bit more of an editorial opinion piece, kind of talking about them. I would say review, but I mean that's probably the most succinct way of putting it, but it would ultimately be me talking about things that I really enjoy rather than a critique of something else. Like, I don't know what I would call them because I feel like reviews are something that I would like to sort of dip my toe into every so often, not a constant thing, but especially in regards to maybe some newer movies as they come out. But let me know what you guys think of that, how you feel about me doing reaction videos to things that I'm already aware of or seen, and all that stuff, and what you'd like to see in a review, that kind of stuff. But I am also, speaking of which, I've been working on a video in regards to these guys. I've been sort of editing together a video that's just, like I say, an opinion piece talking about why I like the Daleks so much, what they mean to me, why I enjoy them a little bit, about their history, about how they were created, that kind of stuff. It's not a very long video, but it is quite heavily edited with like clips and stuff, and we'll see how it goes. But I don't know how the copyright stuff is going to work with it. We'll see, because I know Doctor Who related videos on YouTube can get hit pretty hard with copyright stuff. But we'll see. I would like to do more of that though, and I think I've got a formula with that first video that I'm putting together now that I think would work. Yeah, I just want to know. I just want to know how people feel about that, if it's something they would enjoy. And my kind of mindset for it is, in terms of style, would be kind of like, if you are aware or watch, kind of like Cinemassacre movie review styles, where it's a little bit more chilled out, but there is kind of a scripted element because I want to cover certain points and do it in a certain way and use clips in a certain way. But ultimately, it's more of a chill. I just want to talk about something that I enjoy and a little bit about behind the scenes stuff and the history of it. And, I'm just wondering if that would be something that people would be into. I'm probably going to just sort of do it as an experiment and see how it goes. And it won't be like a constant upload. It would just be when I've got an idea, something I want to talk about, I'll, on the back burner kind of thing, to sort of chip away at making that kind of a video. And when it's ready, I'll put it up. It wouldn't be a regular occurrence, at least not at this stage. But yeah, just interested to hear what people would think about that and if that would be something they would enjoy watching. I've said this previously, I do want to get into more sort of video game coverage and stuff. I'm going to actually experiment today with a recording of that nature and see how that works. And the problem is, my computer that I'm using is good. It's very good at doing a task that you set it to. It's not very high end, but it is good at, it can do a task. I've tried streaming onto Twitch with this computer and it's very weird. Like, it will work perfectly fine for a period of time and then it will just be like, nope, and down. So I'm going to do an experiment of just more of a recording of a video game thing today and see if it works. But I don't know, that is something I would like to get more into because video games are another passion of mine. They have been all my life and I would like to cover them in some way. I've spoken about that in the past, so that's something that's on the table as well. And ultimately, the reaction and review thing is very accessible for me to do in my life and schedule it and make it work, and balance it with my personal life. Obviously, as you're probably very much aware, I'm not making any kind of money out of these videos at this time, and I do have to prioritize my day job, as it were, and my social life with my partner and my friends. And YouTube is my hobby at this point, and it's something that I enjoy doing. I have a lot of fun doing it, but I do have to prioritize those other things. But I am looking into ways to just sort of diversify the sort of content that I'm making. But as I say, it would all be kind of on the back burner. I just kind of chip away at it, and maybe once it's done, I'll put it up. And if I enjoy it and think it's good enough, just the reactions. Although a lot of people think they're an easy thing to do, they're not. Being on camera itself takes a lot out of you. Just generally, like it takes energy and like some sort of gusto to be on camera and do that. I think more than people realize. But also, as I say, because my computer is, it's not terrible, but the editing process can take a little bit of a toll on it, especially once you're like editing down maybe like a 2-hour plus movie down to like 10-15 minutes, and also doing all the other things in the edit. That can take a little bit of a toll on the computer, and the editing process can get slowed down because of that. And also, again, just trying to fit in times of my day where I can do it. At the moment, I've got a pretty solid schedule that I'm running to, and it's working pretty well. Although I something that is going to be coming up quite shortly and quite quickly that I'm sort of preparing for already, and it's going to probably mean a few late nights making sure it gets done and is in good quality. You know what? I've already made the intro for it, so here's a little teaser as to what's going to be coming up quite shortly. So yeah, Friday the 13th movie marathon is going to be coming for Halloween, and the idea at present is that I will upload a video for those Saturday and Sunday for the month, and I think I should be able to get up to Jason X, and that will take up all the way through October, and that will be sort of the Halloween thing. I've been thinking in my head I want to do something cool for Halloween since I started doing YouTube again. I really want to make a fun thing for Halloween because it's one of my favorite times of the year, and Friday the 13th just fit the month, and I could do it in those days, and you know, it would be a good time. Friday the 13th is a franchise that I am familiar with, but I've definitely seen less movies than there are existing, but it's one of those weird franchises where I'm so familiar with it that I feel like I've already seen them all, even though I definitely haven't. But I wanted to go, you know what, I'm going to watch all of them. I'm going to go through all of Friday the 13th and see what's what and have a good time with it. And, you know, like I say, when those videos start coming out, I will be saying, I've seen this one before, but here we go. But the thing is, the ones that I have seen before, I've not seen since maybe... I was like 12, 13 years old. So it's going to be a journey. It's going to be fun, and I think, I hope everyone will enjoy those videos and get into the Halloween spirit of it all, and people will enjoy it. And hopefully I don't burn myself out trying to make it work the way that I want it to. But that is what's going to be happening in Halloween. In Halloween, that is not... You don't say in Halloween. What am I talking about? But that's it for now, guys. As I said at the top, this is a 1,000 thank you subscribers. You guys are doing it. Thank you so much. It does mean the world. It's very... getting to 1,000 subscribers has been just, in many ways, kind of a, like, take a step back moment of... People are enjoying this. People are actively wanting to keep watching what I'm making, and yeah, it's been good. I'm very much happy to see that people are enjoying themselves, and that my content is seemingly having a positive effect on people. There's a lot of people who get angry about some of the things I do and say, and whatever, which is fine. I've got a thick skin. I can deal with that. But thankfully, it seems like the vast majority of people seem to be enjoying the content and having a good time with it. And, you know, that's the most important thing at the end of the day. And I thank you for subscribing and wanting this channel to grow and to maybe keep growing, hopefully. And thank you for sticking around. I would like to do another one of these videos in the not too distant future, but I feel like at the moment I should sort of do them at like landmark moments for the channel. Once we get to a certain point, maybe I'll just make it sort of a regular thing when there are more people sort of taking part in the community and wanting to do Q&As and stuff. But now I think I'll just sort of save them for hitting milestones in terms of subscribers. So the next one, let's say when we hit 2,000 subscribers, we'll do another one of these, and we'll all catch up and do another Q&A, and I'll respond to some comments to whatever videos I've put out since then. And yeah, hopefully it'll be a good time. So if you do have questions that you want me to answer for the next video, leave them in this comment section, and I'll just come back to this video, and if there are any direct questions that people want me to answer for the next one of these, put them there and I will do so. I will go through those questions, and if there are ones there that I'm like, hey, I can give an answer to that, boom, there you go. You've got an answer, and I'll be doing it to camera for you. So that's what we'll do. So 2,000 subscribers. Let's see if we can get there and do it. So if you're enjoying these videos, if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you are subscribed and you like what I'm doing, you know, share this with other people who you think might enjoy it and like being a part of what I'm doing here. So yeah, thank you again.